Nice,
Is
nice,
there,
nice. Mzee, karibu sana.
is there some echo or you're fine?
Like from my end or your end?
When I speak, do you get some echo?
No, no, no. It's all good. Yeah. All right. Thanks, folks. I don't know. I see we have at least four folks online. So I think I think we can get started. If you missed the previous session, there is a recording. I'll put the link there again. But today we are just carrying on from where Japheth left. So I think at this point I'll just hand over to you, Japheth. I will. I can let you share your screen. Let me hide this. It's, but you've been well, Mzee. Your day.
Yeah. I can. So before we start, I think there is two things from the last session. First is for some reason I kept saying vimrc instead of vimscript. None of the like when I was trying to show how you can show line numbers. So it is vimscript, which is like the DSL for programming Vim or configuring Vim. And the other thing, I think Bob asked about touch typing. Yeah, so Vim is really easy, or is very pleasant to use if you know touch type, because you don't look where the keys are. So I can recommend some resources. Well, I think there is a bunch of resources online already. If you just Google touch typing practice, yeah. So out of the way, I think we can get started for today's session. In the previous session, we made Vim very easy to edit in, like any text that you want. And the goal for this session is to make it easy to program in. You know, as much as writing programs is text editing, but there is some things that make it a lot more convenient than others. So, Mzee, what do you think? I'm going to put you on the spotlight a bit, but what makes programming experience in the current editor that you're using?
What makes it like?
What makes it
Come
very
again?
convenient?
Yes.
What makes it convenient for you to write programs in whatever editor you're using?
So for me, I use my daily. I use VS Code. So I think for me, what I need from an editor is just very few things. At least if I can be able to, for example, with VS Code, like there's a definition of a function. I can be control click, then go to where the definition is. I can basically browse around. I can have my list of files in the like file browser. Yeah, and what else? Oh, and of course, IntelliSense, a little bit of IntelliSense. Just make sure that I'm actually more of like confident. Okay, this is the right thing. Without IntelliSense, I might be sure, but I'm not like, okay, have I maybe missed the casing or anything? Yeah. So just a little bit of IntelliSense.
Yeah, well, I guess you're very lucky because today that's what I'm going to make them do. And a bit more. Actually, the other thing that we saw last time is that the braces are not getting closed automatically, and the course also not getting closed automatically. We sort of take that for granted, but it can be very painful if you have to keep doing that all the time. The other thing that I really like is to know which branch I'm on. Otherwise, I might commit the wrong branch. Yeah. So the other important things for me, I would say, being able to find a file, because if you have a big code base, you might not always remember in what directory a file is. In VS Code, you can do Command P to quickly search for a file. So you're also going to get Vim to do the same thing. And sometimes you want to find like a function name or a variable. even in the documentation, not just like all the references, but even like where in the documentation is this name written. So we're going to do all that today, hopefully.
Yes.
I guess we can get started. If you've not liked and subscribed, please do the needful.
Oh yeah.
As we get started. Yeah. Right. Can you see my screen?
And oh yeah, okay. I have to add it on the stage. Sorry.
Okay. All right. Once again, to
Can you just make a little bit like double this, or maybe a third the size? That's good, I think.
Yeah. All right, I thought I was locked out for this then. So we were editing the nvim file, the nvim directory, which was in the .config directory. This is in my home path. So cd. Let me remove this zip file. All right. So we are where we were yesterday, last Thursday, with these configurations, which you can find in the repo that Nandaa posted. Right. So first thing first, let's make it easy to have the parentheses and quotes close automatically. And for that, we're going to use a plugin called nvim pairs, if I'm not mistaken. So I can just search here nvim pairs. Auto pairs, sorry. Yeah, I think that should be the right name. nvim auto pairs, and its config is actually very simple. So just this is what is required for us to have a.
Okay, can you put the link on the chat or?
Okay. I'll do that. Let me say.
Okay.
And then of course return. Okay, I just copy pasted it, so it should work. So now if I so that it installs it. Once that is done, to test if it works, or if you can just search for this nvim auto pairs. So if I add a quote now, you see that I have it completed. I don't have to write manually. And if I do like say C is equal to function, also my parentheses completed. If I was using braces, they also be completed. Right. So that's done. Now we have pairing of parentheses and quotes done for us. So the next thing we're going to add is so we can do text completion. So that's what Nandaa was talking about when he said IntelliSense. Although text completion is not exactly IntelliSense, we'll get that when we add now the language server protocol. So we're going to do text completion first, and then we're going to do LSP. So LSP also allows you to go to definition or find variable references, see the signature format, see a method signature, or all those nice things. So I'm going to add here completion. Let's do it. And the plugin for completion is called nvim comp. So I'm not sure how valuable this is. I mean, I'm not sure how visible this is. Can you guys read, or I need to zoom? Maybe you just zoom anyway. Right. So you can see that this plugin has a bunch of dependencies. So we're going to specify this plugin and then specify the dependencies as well. And how we do that is we say return the plugin name is this guy's name, that, and then I'm going to say here dependencies is equal to this. All of this will be dependencies. Just going to delete that, and I think I'll need right. So let me push this a bit again. Right. So we specified the completion plugin and its dependencies, and I think there is more dependencies here for different type of snippets. As we can just use, what can we use? Okay, let me just check both of these. And if I'm too fast, you can let me know.
Yeah. So let me see. So I needed the link. Or where did you put the link to that doc?
Okay, so let me check that and then paste it in the comments.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, everyone will see it. Okay.
Yeah. Continue. All right.
You have to. So sorry about that. Or in the private chat, I can then move it. Okay, anyway. So.
All right. So, chat. What? Okay, let me just use the private chat.
Yeah, then I can move it. Sorry.
The thing is, I'm sharing my screen.
Yeah. Sorry about that. So got it now. Thanks. Let me send it to everyone.
Yeah. Anyway, now we have the dependencies. So the other thing we want to do now is add the configuration function. And so for the config, I'm just going to paste everything under here how to set up nvim comp. Okay, let me minimize that a bit so that I can just copy everything. So yeah, up to this point, there's a lot of text to copy. Paste that. Right, so that will set up text completion. So if I quit, and then do that, fail flags of completion, expected to close at line 3, yeah, okay, probably a comma or something. Plugins completion, line 3, yeah, I forgot to put a comma there. Yeah, so that will install the packages and its dependencies. So now I should at least have some sort of some form of completion at this point. So if I do, let me try, say, yeah, you see now I get completion, but the suggestions are actually from the current file, from the buffer. What would be more friendly or more meaningful is if I can get suggestions from the language server protocol. So the language server protocol provides features essentially or services to an editor to enable things like go to definition, seeing, like if I press seeing what methods a function has or what functions a module has. So what method an object has or what function a module has. So that's what LSP gives us. But before we set up LSP, I want us to, there is another plugin called Meson, which sort of is a package manager for LSPs. So it makes it easy to install language server protocols for different languages. Otherwise, you'll have had to do it manually, and it's very painful. You don't want to do it manually. So I'm going to add the LSP plugin though. I mean the Meson plugin, which gives us different LSPs. So that config, I'm going to put it in a file called lsp.lua. And then I'm going to say return an object. So yeah, so there is a different, so Meson works with a number of plugins at the same time. So I'm just going to put them here together and then explain what each does, or rather explain what each does. So this William Bowman Meson.nvim. So this is the main plugin, which gives us the language server protocols for different languages. And then it has a simple config function. And its config is rather simple. I require Meson. Let's set up. Then the other will be similar to this. So NVim has its own, it ships with language server protocol support out of the box, but it requires some configuration to get it to work, right? So between Meson and the NVim's LSP config, there is a package which is sort of like a bridge between them. That package is called Meson LSP config. LSP config. And then say config function. And then we configure it or set it up, require Meson LSP config, that's set up. And then we can say ensure, like we always want to have LSP installed. So you can say ensure installed. Since we're writing Lua right now, we can say ensure installed, ensure that the Lua language server LSP is always installed. So, and then finally now, we configure NVim's the LSP, NVim's LSP support. So this should be yeah. This is now the third plugin that we're configuring, and this is a new Vim and Vim LSP config. New Vim and LSP config, and then we're going to say the config function as always. Config function and right. So with that done, so we need to set up. We sort of now need to set up the Lua language server itself. So we can do say local LSP config. We require it. That is LSP config, and then we're going to have one thing. You might have, sorry, that should have been in here. So for this for the NVIM for the completion plugin to use the LSP as sort of source of completion options, you need to do this bit here. Because now, like you notice, it was only getting completions from the current file, right? But now we also wanted to show things from the LSP server.
And
so that's what,
you need both of them. You can't just work with one, just the LSPs.
you can just.
Oh, you need both the plugins.
Yeah, you need both of them. But since
Okay.
you already have the since you already have the completion plugin, now you can just connect it to the LSP.
Oh, just connecting. Okay.
So now you can do here local call capabilities is equal to require complete and Vim.
So the LSP protocol, language server protocol, is the same protocol also that VS Code uses, right?
Yeah. VS Code were the guys who actually invented it. I think, or it was invented for VS Code, and then everyone else uses it now. For capabilities. Right. So, and then we're going to say here lsp config dot lua ls dot setup. And then we're going to say capabilities is equal to capabilities. Right. So with that done, if I start, it will install the packages, and now I should have more information in my editing environment rather than more than just the completion from the buffer file. When I say from the buffer, what I mean is from the current file that I'm editing. So now if I go to my Lua file, I should get, you see now I get like warnings, lint errors, more so on and so forth. So this is what the LSP gives you.
I don't know where else like our audience are following, but for me, I don't want to get this to be a debugging session, but somehow my NVim with I've just taken the config that we had from Git because I'm using a different machine. Actually, I'm on Windows. Actually, I found even some things about Windows, which I'll update the documentation. But I needed to know why. Just at the lower pane, I just see hashtag plugin updates, then ** lazy .nvim. What could be the issue? But I don't see any
sorry.
of that landing page.
You don't see?
I don't see the you know the way you open your NVim and you have the fancy landing page sort of.
You mean this?
You just open NVim, right? You get.
Yeah.
Wait. Okay, I have the same thing. So what am I missing? Okay, I have the same thing. I thought I'm missing something.
That happens when I have plugins that are not installed. So that fancy view is actually the view for installing plugins. It's this view. It's this view.
Okay. So I have to load it. So it's lazy.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I got it now. Okay.
So here you can come. If you press U, I think it will check if there is any plugins that need updating, and we see that okay.
Okay.
There's one plugin that was.
And to exit from that view, just Q or.
Yeah, just Q.
Okay. And then how about to show the tree? I know you covered it last time.
Yeah, so if you use the config, you'll have leader S. You'll use leader S, which is (S) now.
There we go. (S), because that's the config I have.
Yeah.
Okay. So okay. I think we are together now. So what I'm doing is I've opened because I've been doing some Rust stuff. So I've just opened a Rust project, and I want to see how the to completion works with Rust.
Yes. So for Rust, you'll have to. Okay, I can show how to extend this to make the LSP for any programming work with any
language. I know you've done for which language?
For Lua. Now I'm doing for Lua because I'm editing Lua.
Just for Lua. Okay.
So now,
Okay, no worries.
Yeah. I didn't.
Go ahead.
Originally, I thought of setting it up for Go, but then it won't make sense because I'm editing Lua files. So I thought, okay, let me just I wanted this talk to be sort of to have like a recursive talk in there, like setting Lua while editing Lua. Anyway.
Nice.
Yeah. So I was in lsp.lua. So if I do and now you'll see also like the file tree gives me files that have warnings. It will also tell me files that have errors. So that's a pretty cool. So I wanted to do what? Yeah. So I wanted to show the warnings that I'm getting, say the global variable in lowercase initial, so on and so forth. Or undefined global vim, for example. So I want to fix this. So I'm going to configure my LSP a bit more so that it recognizes the global vim option or the global vim module. So how I do that here, I come here and I say settings is Lua, and then I'm going to say diagnostics, and then specify that the globals. So I specify vim as a global. So you see the other thing with the LSP support is I also get errors now. So I learn about errors earlier than like last Thursday, for example. So I'm going to do that. So now those warnings should have gone away. It was in geo.lua. The warning error went away, but I still have linting information. So with that done, I want now to add the capability for jumping to a function. For example, if I'm in this file and I'm reading it, but I'm curious about how is set implemented, for example, because I have vim.keep set. I want to see how set is implemented. Or if I'm writing map here, already get the function signature. But if, for example, if I'm just reading this code and I want to see what signature does this method have, then how do I do that? So that's what I'm going to configure our LSP to do now. And to do that, we come here to an vim LSP config, and then we make some mappings. So I'm going to say these mappings will be normal mode mappings. So when I press G then followed by D, I want you to vim to take me to the definition. This is a go-to definition. Definition. So this takes me to the definition of that whatever method I've pressed GD on. But if I press say G capital D, I want you to take me to the declaration. For people who write Python, I don't think there's a difference. But if you write C, I think, or even TypeScript, there is like declaration and the definition of a function. But it is very obvious in C. It is more obvious in C. And if I press now, go to references, say GR, I want you to take me to the reference in LSP dot references. Take me to all the references of this particular method. And then I want now to simulate, like, you see how you put your cursor on a method in VS Code or on a variable, and then it gives you more information, like the data type, so on and so forth. I want to say when my cursor is on some variable or some identifier, and I press capital K, I want you to say, do the hover thing. Make it appear like I've hovered over the thing. Windows p.buff, hover.
Or I choose K because the normal K will be to scroll down, right?
Yeah, this is Shift K now.
Scroll up. So this will be Shift K.
Yeah. So and this case, I'm putting them because they're convenient for me. Like if you find that they're difficult for you, you can always configure them to match your style.
No, but I think I like the approach you're taking because JK you're using those a lot. So you just want to make sure that you're combining either Shift does something else. So yeah, I can see that ergonomics.
Yeah. So now sometimes, for example, in TypeScript, the the errors usually are very long, are too long for to make sense to me. But usually they extend past like your viewport. So sometimes you want to open them in a float. So I'm saying this config says if I press Shift E, then open that float so that I can like see more of the error. Diagnostic dot open float. Right. So this essentially makes Vim or Vim feel more like VS Code now. I'm sure for you, Prof.
Yeah, okay. And I would like you to open the same file. I just wanted to like use the same. I would like to know what buff, like everything that buff has. How can I check everything that lsp.buff has? Can I use
which
the
one? So
yeah,
now with
Lua
our LSP, essentially we should have seen this buff. Okay, I don't know why it's not working, but we can fix it. But it should have worked. So essentially with that, we should have been able to see, like when you do vim.lsp.buff.something, it should have given us all the options.
How about those? I see the vim.ls.
Not from LSP. These are from this current file.
Oh, these are not buffer. The current file. There's a name you're calling it when it's a current file.
Yeah, that's the buffer. It's like the buffer.
Buffer, okay.
Yeah. So, but we want this autocomplete to come from the LSP. I wonder if it's because I left something out. Let me see if it's there is this part. Okay, no, this should be in the LSP config. Unless I don't know why is that not working. Could be game snip. Okay, first let me confirm if the other implementation things are working. So if I do, for example, go to definition. All right, EVD. So okay, my this was in LSP.lua. So okay, so first I can see that my configs are not being invoked because I'm trying. If you look on the bottom right, you'll see G and then I'm pressing D. So essentially that should have taken me to the implementation, but it's not doing that. Am I missing something? Vim Shift K, or Shift K is working. GD test. Is it? Because let me see. Can I jump to? Oh yeah, it's working. I don't know why it's not jumping for some, but you see, I can go to see how nmap is implemented, and then to jump back to where I was usually. Well, maybe you can have a session for the shortcuts, but usually you press Control or to go back to now where you are initially, to sort of to jump behind. So just go to definition and then Control O takes you back to where you are.
And that is your unbinding or the default one?
I think Control O is by default what's on Vim. It should be the same on VS Code as well. Like if you ever tried pressing Control O, it will take you back to after you jump to definition.
Oh, okay. I know why now. I've been getting. Is that I use control T just goes like historically.
Yeah.
Like I'm using control T and sometimes getting confused. Okay, nice. Makes sense.
Okay. So that is the LSP. And it's working. We've seen that we're getting now warnings, errors. Um, we also get to see those in our file tree as well. So that is good. We can jump to definition. We can go back. So let me show you. Let's set up for Rust now. So if you you
Okay.
type
And then if you don't mind, will you like this update? We also push it to that repo, right?
yeah.
Okay, good.
So if we do Mason,
Mm-hmm.
so here we see all the LSPs that you can install. So if we're looking for Go, I think should be somewhere down here, or Rust for that case. Look for it. Yeah, post Rust. Oh no, should be right down. Pick your Rationalize is called, right?
Yeah, rationalizer.
Rationalizer, there you go. So you
Mm.
just install it. You press I, and you see it is downloading it here. You can
Mm.
see it installing. So once it is installed, what you have to do is you have to come here and this now say lsp config. I think it will be the trust analyzer. Let's set up, and then you do capabilities. Oh, sorry, this is actually you need to do it outside here. Capabilities, and then we provide the capabilities. So now we are now you can all of a sudden you can use Vim for editing Rust, for writing Rust,
Okay.
and that's pretty much it.
Mm. And one thing, maybe these are out of pocket, out of topic, sort of. But what made me like a bit surprised about, especially in Neovim, was the fact that it sort of has a GUI like experience on terminal.
Yeah.
What kind of? I know you are an code editor internals guy, like you know. So what actually is working under the hood for to make it that where you can use even the mouse and click? That was my first actually surprise with the new view.
So I'm not exactly sure about how Vim does it.
Mm,
Uh, yeah. So it's a good question. Something to find out.
yeah.
Yeah, because when I was looking into editors, I was really curious about the data structures
Mm-hmm.
uh, that editors run to make editing cheap, like so that your editor doesn't crash even if you have like a 10 GB file. That's what I was
Mm-hmm.
looking into.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
So great.
So my other really good thing I like um, about well, I really like having my formatting done for me. So that's what I'm going to configure now. Yeah, like you
Mm-hmm.
see in TypeScript we have prettier. In Go we have Go format. I'm not sure what Rust uses, but
Mm-hmm.
now I want to configure in Vim to have such that whenever I save a file, I want it to be automatically formatted. Right. So I want my file. I want the formatting to run whenever I save a file. Whenever I'm writing to a file, I'm
Also,
writing
depending
to
on the format for that language.
yes,
So like Go FMT for Go, right?
yeah.
Okay, I see. So,
Right. So to do that, I'm going to create a plugin to add I'm going to add another plugin. We can call this formatting. I like giving things names that make it easy for me to find them. So
I like that. Okay,
use
completely
my
agree.
lack of originality
Ah,
and Vim tools. Uh, To formatting, we use a plugin called nonetheless.nvim. And this plugin has dependencies.
And whenever you do that, just to reiterate, that I get, whenever you do the NVM tools, there is a plugins directory somewhere, right? Where was it?
Yeah, if you look at config, just everything under plugins is where we specify our plugins and the dependencies and their configuration. Yeah, and like how we configure.
But when you say NVM tools, that's like in the repository where actually NVM, where does it have like some sort of crates, or where are these things coming from actually? Or
Yeah,
you just
so
get them from.
sorry, there's some Diwali noise in the background.
Diwali, okay. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So this is sort of like the Ruby on Rails principles, which is like conversion of a configuration, essentially. So our plugin manager, lazy.lua, expects can automatically load whatever plugins are in this plugins directory. So that's how it finds the plugins. Yeah.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Okay, see.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
So
that makes sense.
yeah, so now going to add formatting. We want to
And
whenever
lastly, how are you switching between the tree and the tree view and the main pen?
yeah, so I remember one of the basics config was this control J, then map, right? So like it's the same thing. I just use the same config. Like to jump to the left, I use L. To jump to the right, I use H. So yeah. So it's the same thing with the file tree. I just I just use the same keys again.
Okay, what was C? C, was it leader? What was this?
So
What
C
was
is
this?
control. C is control. Sorry. So this is saying when I press
Oh,
Control
okay.
J, go down.
Uh-huh.
So Control L, go left.
Go down.
Control H.
And then what about CWJ now?
So CWJ is the actual command in Vim to do it, like control window, and then you say J or to go L to go to the right. So we sort of in this config sort of gets rid of the W. You don't have to press 3 keys to jump around. Now you just press the control and where you want to jump to. Otherwise, you'll have to say control, then press W, then J. So this sort of makes the jumping around more convenient. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. So we are now going to set up formatting, so that we have our text auto-formatted whenever we save the file. In TypeScript, you will run a formatter like Prettier. In Lua, it's called style Lua. So that's what we're going to configure for Lua. And this as a dependency on NVM tools, none ls extras.nvim. And so you see all this, say, LSP hint says like, a line with trailing space. Now our formatting will fix these ones because now it knows how to do it. I don't have to remove the lines manually all the time. So as usual, our config function, and then we're going to say now.setup, and there you specify what format we're going to use. So here you say now the built-ins formatting style Lua. So this is we specify the Lua formatter. This should be setup, and then it takes sources is equal to put that there. I need to require null. Require let's line trailing spaces, miss symbols. So this is sources. I think I'm missing another. Yeah. So now this specifies. So this sort of says what this does is for Lua files it will use this formatter to format Lua files. But now we actually need it. We need to tell NVim to do the actual formatting, right? It knows what formatter to use. Now it just doesn't know when to do it. So to know when to do it, we're going to say vim.api .nvim create auto command, and then we say buff write pre. So this means before you actually save the file, do this thing. We specify a callback that you want called, and then say a function.
This is more like a hook, right?
Yeah, it's like a pre-save hook. So you say vim.lsp.buff.format. So now whenever we save a file, this format will run. So we can try it to see if it works. So this will install the formatting. Actually, I forgot to. What's that? Oh, there's a typo there. There's a typo. Lua plugins formatting. This should be built-ins.
Oh, build. Okay.
Let's try that again. Vim create auto command and new value. Attempt to call field and vim create auto command. Auto. Oh, there's another typo. I missed an O. Auto command. And Vim is happy now. So let's see if it will actually format anything. So you see something changed there, right? Like if I say shift this number of times and I save my file, it will be formatted correctly. So that's formatting. Right now we have LSP. We can format files are getting formatted automatically. So what else do you need in there? What else do you need?
Good question. Because actually Collins had asked in the chat that I missed the first one, but here are some items I would like to see. Search, replace in a buffer, global search, replace and toggle term. He looks like someone who has done some Vim. So this Vim speed.
Who knows what they're talking about? So those are all very valuable things to know. So right now we have LSP working. We have formatting working. So we can get into the searching. We can also get into the toggle term. But first, I want to get to. I want to know which branch am I writing my program in before I commit into the wrong branch. Happens to me all the time. So for that, there's a plugin called Lua Line, which we're going to use. And Vim Lua Line, which sort of gives you that line, like the line below VS Code, which shows you like which position your cursor is, what branch you're on, so on and so forth. So yeah, so I'm just going to copy paste that, and then I'm going to call these plugins Lua line Lua return paste that. Oh, very good. So that
just out of the wild question, there's no one who has thought about an idea of having a repository for these plugins, because what I'm seeing is like plugins are like from around the web, sort of GitHub here, but is there a
Yeah.
central place of like the way
Yeah,
we have?
I think there is something called Awesome Vim or something. It's like a collection of. So Vim is like the same way that Go uses GitHub for as a package
Open
repo.
model.
Yeah. So yeah.
Oh wait, so whenever we do nvim tree / nvim web or wherever, actually nvim tree is an organ
It is
GitHub.
it's a GitHub repo. It's a part. So this is like
I
the
see.
organizational username, and this is the repo name,
Username, yes.
and then the repo.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, because that's okay. Now even that answers my questions. Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah.
But also they went to just GitHub. There was not like,
Sorry.
but I'm sure the place you could also like change or something.
Yeah. Right. Now, so if now let me clear this. So here is a fancy.
Let me just give me a minute. You can just go on there.
Sorry. Okay.
You
Right.
can
So
just give me a minute, but you can go on.
okay, that's fine. Although I can't see any questions, so just ask your questions when Nandaa comes in. I can answer them. So now we have Lua line setup. So if I do git init here, and I do, you'll see that already I have the branch name there, among other things. The file name, I have a lot more information to work with now, which is quite neat. And I can do this from my LSP config. I see what this method or what this function expects. Right. So with that done, I think the other thing we can add is Git support to be able to commit things from Vim, see what has changed, so on and so forth. Here, there is a variety of options to use for Git. I think there is a plugin called NeoGit, but I prefer a much simpler plugin called Fugitive, because I find NeoGit I find it a bit overwhelming. It shows a lot of information and a lot of options, a lot of things. Like you can do the same thing in many ways. Myself, I prefer the simpler fugitive plugin. So here I'm going to add. Sorry, Mzee?
Where did they get these names?
Yeah. Fugitive, its tagline is that it is too good, it should be illegal. That is called Fugitive. So this plugin is tpop Vim Fugitive. And then just say config is equal to function, and then we make a normal. So this is the good thing of LSP. Now you see completion comes from the LSP as well. Now you know, okay, there is this map function, and it takes 2 arguments. And then if I press Command K, I can see what it expects. So I'm going to say map leader G should start fugitive. G here, return enter. So now if I it gets that installed, if I press leader G, I should, and I'm not getting that. So let me see what's edit from. Edit, that is Lua plugins. git deploy. So that is config function and map. That should have worked. Why is that not working? Anyway, I'm not going to spend the time to fix this, to debug this here. I'm just going to copy this. I know it will work, and then I can look at it later. So just put it here again. So if I do that now, yeah, you see now I get support, and then I can see like what has changed here. Oh, these are not yet staged. So okay, to stage, you just simply key in click S to stage something, and then to commit.
Oh, you can actually like sort of almost like you're picking specific one that you want to stage. That's nice.
Yeah. And then to see what changed, usually or you press the equal sign to see what has changed.
What? Okay. And stage?
I think that should be U. Yeah, U and stages. S stages,
okay.
S stages, U and stages.
Sort of save and undo. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I wanted to request whether today we can close at 1 hour tops.
All right.
But these are good. So today we've covered. We've looked at like now we're getting closer to having. Actually, is it like for my requirements? Looks like I have everything. What else? Except of course towards calling the dust about search and all that. So global search, is that a good one to take a look at, like in part 3?
I think if we can get 5 minutes, I think we can do it.
Oh, okay, let's do it.
All right. So I think I can sneak in and make Collins happy.
Okay, good.
We can call this search.lua, and we're going to use a plugin called. Oh, I think I just figured out the reason why that thing was failing is because I was not importing that was in Git. I was not importing my my util function, my helper function for the nmap. That's why.
Oh, anyway. Okay. See.
Yes. So search. We're going to import it util, and then I'm going to say here return. So for this, we're going to use a plugin called nvim telescope. Telescope.nvim, and it's just a dependency on nvim lua plenary. And then I'm going to say config is a function, not that, and right. So here I'm going to say equal built-in is equal to require telescope dot built-in. Right. Then I'm going to create the mapping. So I want to say nmap leader fg, like search globally for some identifier. So this will be built-in dot live grep. And then to search globally for file, I can do nmap leader find file. I can do here built-in dot find files. So I think that should be enough. 0.5.
And by the way, in terms for Lua, by default text it just takes the latest plugin after maybe if the author has updated, or you can
Yeah.
also I
So
saw
you can
.lock.
you have to update it. Like if there is new plugins, you have to update, or you can specify a tag or a branch. Like I'm missing some dependencies to confirm.
And I saw .lock. That .lock is what is keeping
Yeah.
that information, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
These are some prerequisites: optional dependencies, required dependencies. So you say dependencies. So is in Vim. Okay, let me click off.
What we've been binding keys. Brian Mayo asked that what's the best way to learn the key bindings? Most online web apps for that like Vim Adventures are not free.
So, well, you just use it and like there is no easier way than using it. Just using Vim. Like if you want to do something and you don't know how to do it, you just Google how to do it. Like how do I do this, for example? Yeah. Right. So there is some.
So the way I'm seeing your approach is, and I like your approach that you're not ending up with so many key bindings that you're not using. Almost like every key binding you have is what you're using, as
Yeah.
opposed to taking someone else bindings and then you just have so many things. Sometimes you wonder what happened, what did I press, and then something happened.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we need to install this dependency, rip grep. So band sushi rip grep. It's a dependency on this. So we install it. Installation on Ubuntu is Linux. Debian is Debian. Get install rip grep. Okay, I don't think I'll get to the terminal today, but I think I can get to this today. Okay, install. So elevator music has started installed,
Okay.
and we're done. So now should work. Open file. Sorry, not that. So I wonder why that is not working. Do plugins such. Wait. Could it be okay? Let me remove this here as well from here as well and see if it will work. I don't understand why. I need to figure out why my mappings in this config function are not working. I thought if I had the util there, it should work.
Yeah.
Basic. Let's say here telescope config. Oh, the error config module is not found.
Telescope. Built
Yeah.
in telescope will be
Edit Lua config basic. Will it be because of the path? It's outside the plugins path, but this should work. Telescope.built-in. That should work. require that local built-in.
So if you said local built-in, I suspect that built-in is a variable.
Yeah, they're saying this path is not found. The telescope built-in, the one that we're trying to import.
Oh, okay. But is it okay if we pick up from this place?
Sure. Okay.
On the next.
Yeah.
Now we are getting to a place where we can start like using Vim almost like our primary editor. But still, I'll need some work on. So, do you think that it's now for us to ask the students to go read on the basics, like the editing, the movements, or was the way it's going? Looks like go teach us those basics.
Oh yeah, well, the student have to put in some effort.
I still have to put it. Okay, good. So and on that note, actually, Mruki shared some good resource that there's Vim Tutor, that they have like sort of a guide, an inbuilt editor there you can play around with. For those maybe who just want to have a feel of Vim without even installing on their computers.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks so much. I'll let you go. Today I'm having some event here at work. Just wanted to go to close up. But thanks so much, everyone who made it today. This is the second part of a 4-part series. But if duty calls, we can do the fifth part. If it's looking like we'll have to do some fifth part.
I think we're actually almost done.
Almost done, really? Okay. So, but it'll be nice. So myself, I'm also going to go over so that also when I come, I have everything set up for the next session. And also I expect that all the students will do that. All right. There's no other question here I can see. Any parting shots? Do you have any parting shots? Wait, did you freeze? All right. Like Japheth froze, but thanks so much for everyone who came. Look forward to seeing you on the third episode, and make sure please to go over the previous videos and come ready for the third session so that we can close this time. Have a good night and God bless you. See you.